Good morning. My name is Brittany Butler, and I'm a member of the Holston Valley Unitarian Universalist Church Ministerial Search Committee. Other members of this committee include David Cashton, Denise Mattioli, Cindy Huss, and Sarah Sanders. Dottie Blades is our committee chair. We have worked diligently for the past year to find a candidate who is the right fit for our congregation. I am pleased to introduce our candidate for settled ministry, Reverend Tiffany Sapp, who will speak to us this morning about change. The ability to adapt to change is one of humanity's superpowers. For our chalice lighting, some words by Unitarian Universalist minister George Kimmich Beach. Everything begins on the verge of awareness. The dawn is not, and then is. Sleep is, and then is not. In between is the awakening. The passage of thin light between breaks open the day. The passage of thin sound between flows into the day. Too soon the numbing rumble of traffic swells. The day glares. Let the soft haze hang again across the row of morning. Wait upon the narrow moment. The first awareness of being in between. Live days and seasons on the thin edge of dawn, in praise that every single thing begins now. May the constant flow of change in our lives wake us up to every gift that this present moment brings us. We all have different reasons for gathering here each week, but we have this much in common. We work together as a church to transform ourselves, our community, and our world by sharing love, pursuing justice, and seeking wonder. Today, the Sunday before Earth Day, our choir has prepared a chant from our Singing the Journey hymnal called The Earth is Our Mother. Our Unitarian Universalist values calls us to care for the earth, which is what the song is all about. Our Unitarian Universalist values also call us to be mindful, even reverential, when we draw upon music and readings from people who have been historically marginalized. While our hymnal says that this chant is Native American, there's no attribution to the specific tribe. Understanding tribal identity is extremely important when we are trying to do justice to Native American art and culture. So we dug a little deeper into the origins of this chant. We discovered that musical educator Hawk Hurst attributes this chant to the Hoopa tribe in Northern California. With gratitude for all the ways that we are connected in mutual care with the earth and with all of its inhabitants, this is The Earth is Our Mother.
The earth is our mother, we must take care of her. The earth is our mother, we must take care of her. Hey young a ho, young a hey young young. Hey young a ho, young a hey young young. Her sacred and the forest is our brother. We will take care of him. Hey, yunga ho, yunga hey, yum yum. Hey, yunga ho, yunga hey, yum yum. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. Hey, yunga ho, yunga hey, yum yum. 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 Hey, yunga ho, yunga hey, yum yum.
We will sing Loving Kindness next. Please light a candle to dispel the darkness, to honor someone or some event, or to bring light to a memory.
May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be
Good morning, and thank you for your warm welcome. I am the Reverend Tiffany Sapp, and I'm so excited to be with you here today as your candidate for settled ministry. I want to talk to you all about change today because a lot has changed since we've last been together. I mean, look at me talking to you from the inside of a box in your computer. It's not what any of us would have expected a few years ago, but here we are. And interestingly, we've all kind of gotten used to it to a certain extent. Sure, we all eagerly anticipate gathering again in person, but for now, we have adapted and found ways to stay connected. This ability to adapt has been the ultimate evolutionary advantage for human beings. The cheetah evolved to be fast, insects evolved to reproduce prolifically, we humans evolved to adapt, and even adapt our environment to our needs. Recognizing and living with change has been an important point in many wisdom sources that we Unitarian Universalists draw upon. Hebrew scripture reminds us that for everything there is a season, and we can see with our own eyes how the seasons of the earth keep on changing around us in an endless cycle of life, death, decomposition, and renewal. The Diamond Sutra of Buddhism compares this fleeting world to a star at dawn and a bubble in a stream, hinting that as soon as we get used to the present moment, a brand new, completely different moment bubbles up in its place. The Humanist Manifesto 3 boldly proclaims, "We welcome the challenges of the future and are drawn to and undaunted by the yet to be known." And we don't have to look any further than our own personal experiences to know that our lives are always changing. This means that the ability to thrive is linked to our ability to adapt to change. Activist Adrienne Marie Brown sums it up better than me when she says, "How we live and grow and stay purposeful in the face of constant change actually does determine both the quality of our lives and the impact that we can have when we move into action together." And yet, we also have a very human impulse to resist change, to seek stability. A colleague of mine who has specialized in restarting Unitarian Universalist churches tells a poignant story about human resistance to change. In 2010, she was hired by a congregation that had a membership of 2 to revitalize their church. And she was successful. At their grand reopening, they had 60 people in attendance and over 40 ready to sign the membership book. And then these 2 people who had invested a great deal of their own resources into seeing the church grow had the sudden, shocking realization that bringing 40 new voting members into their congregation meant that they were going to have to change a lot. Gripped by fear, they used a bylaw loophole to refuse to let any of those 40 join, and they fired their consultant. They thought growth was good in theory, but when faced with such a big change, they walked away. Growth needs change. Thriving needs change. This year, even just survival needs change. And we've seen people's refusal to adapt prolong our collective suffering during this pandemic. Just because change is necessary and inevitable, that doesn't make it easy, does it? So what practices might we engage in to make navigating change and using it to our benefit easier and more effective? Practicing discernment is a good start because not every change is good and not all growth is sustainable. So cultivating a sense of groundedness and wisdom can help us navigate change effectively. We cannot completely control the process of change, but we can steer change like a rudder on a boat. And we need discernment to know how to steer. How do we discern wisely? Experience. How do we gain experience? Making less wise decisions and learning from them. That growth mindset will serve us well as we continue to adapt. We practice discernment by reflecting on who our principles and our covenant call us to be and by listening to each other. Those among us who have more experience can tell us what has worked and what hasn't worked in the past so that we don't constantly keep repeating the same mistakes. And those among us that have less experience often bring us the flexibility, the imagination, the energy that we need if we're going to steer the ship. We can balance each other and learn from each other. Navigating change with community allows us to access both that stabilizing influence and that energizing influence within our congregation. This give and take dynamic between the generations shows us another helpful practice in navigating change, and that is by embracing the liminal together. Theologian Richard Rohr defines the liminal this way: it is when you have left or are about to leave the tried and true, but have not yet been able to replace it with anything else. It is when you are between your old comfort zone and any possible new answer. If you are not trained in how to hold anxiety, how to live with ambiguity, how to entrust and wait, you will run. Anything to flee this terrible cloud of unknowing. The best way that we resist the temptation to flee and learn to sit with the ambiguity is together as a community. Weddings, funerals, baby showers, UU coming of age ceremonies, even new member classes are all ways we support each other in the liminal. Small group participation, coffee hour conversations, and seeking pastoral care support are all additional tools to navigate change with the support of community. Supported by covenant, we can navigate the liminal together and marvel at how the stretching of discomfort has actually helped us grow. It will be very interesting to see what we have done with this liminal pandemic time, which leads us to our final practice, letting go of our assumptions. This next week together is going to be a fascinating exercise in letting go of assumptions, which I am excited to embrace. You see, in my humanness, I am tempted to assume that I know many of you already from my time here as an intern minister. But that was 2 years ago, and a lot has happened since then. Might even say more than in your average 2 years. These experiences have changed you. I have changed too. So we get to rediscover each other this week. And I look forward to learning how you've grown and what you've learned during these challenging times. This is a dramatic example of something that happens in relationships all the time. The people we know and love are constantly changing. So it's a gift to them and to you to let go of the assumptions you have and rediscover them as if for the first time. No doubt change brings challenges, but it also brings joyful discovery and awe in watching our efforts actually impact the world positively as we shape that change together. Because even as we are acted upon by change, we can also be the creators of change together. Let me then close our time together today with a thought experiment called the Ship of Theseus. I heard about this first from the popular Marvel TV series WandaVision, but the metaphor is ancient, and this is my retelling. Imagine that in ancient times, the young hero Theseus returns victorious from a journey on a ship with his companions. The boat became a monument, and the people of Athens made every effort to preserve it. When a plank or an oar rotted away, they would replace it with the very best materials. As the years passed by, it was only a matter of time before not a single plank or oar from the original ship remained. If all the original materials have been replaced, is it still the Ship of Theseus? This is the enigma of the nature of change, as we look for something to hold on to in a world where everything is temporary. 64 years ago, some religious liberals in the Tri-Cities began conversations that would eventually lead to the founding of this church. Each person here listening today is a new oar or plank that's been put into place in the form of this congregational ship that was not here when it all began. And yet it seems to me that with everything that's changed, there's been a few important things that we've carried forward. Our deeply held values, the human impulse to congregate, the need to support each other through the changes of life, and the calling to work together to bring positive change to our world. These things have not changed. We live out the fulfillment of these founding members in the ways that we work together. As we carry their legacy forward while simultaneously planting the seeds of the future, it is a gift to imagine how we will keep on adapting together while changing the world for the better in the process. May it be so in our minds, hearts, and deeds.
You can find our closing poem and many others by Reverend Teresa Soto in their book Spilling the Light. This is Stretch. I confess that I have skipped to the back of the book. I really wanted to know what or who or how the story went. I told myself that if I still wanted to read the rest, then it must be good. But that only works for paperback books. Life is a little less linear. And still wanting to know how the journey will go, I'm willing to dance with the suspense. What will become of a failure? What can be built of an honest mistake? Keep paying attention. Keep dreaming and supposing that more is possible. We don't yet know the ending. And if you're tired, then it must be time to rest. Staying curious is like a muscle. We flex, reaching for what we don't yet know, and relax, leaving space for what is yet to come. Our time together is nearly finished, but our work is not done. May our spirits be renewed and our resolve strengthened as we meet the challenges of the week to come. Please help me close the service now. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. My name is Beth, and I'm happy that you could join us for this service. Please come back whenever you like. We will post another virtual service next Sunday. Please contact the minister or the caring team if you or someone else you know needs help during this time. Our services are recorded in advance, so current events may move faster than our ability to address them in a timely fashion. However, you can find up-to-date information on local events, social justice issues, inspiration, and content for all ages on our Facebook page. This week, there will be a few Candidate Week events that will give us a chance to meet Tiffany and for Tiffany to meet us. The first one starts right after this service with an online coffee hour. Please see the news or events section of the HVUUC.org for instructions on how to join this Zoom event. For our postlude, Wendy, Ann, and Rosemary bring us Mother Earth Natural Anthem, written by Neil Young and Crazy Horse for their 2016 album Honoring the Earth, which showcased a variety of styles and nature sounds. As you make your way through the week, remember that you are good, you are loved. We all need a little work, and we are all in this together. Nothing left to say but, yay, church!